You're tuned in to the Behind the Ears podcast with Uncle Danny and Mr. Chris, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I gotta tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roasts even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bob Slitter's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Behind the Ears podcast. We are live and in color on this fantastic Friday Eve. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. Sir, how are you?
I am doing fabulous. And I hope you're doing well, too. So there.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing very well. Hey, I wanted to start with something.
What's that?
Hold on, I had to pull it up on another screen. So people always ask us, like, what are we like? Are we like the same people outside of our podcast? And
I'd like to think I am. I don't know about you, but this is.
I like to think so, but I want to share something because this dives a little bit deeper into, because people always like, oh, you always crack jokes because you're on a podcast. Actually, I'm going to read you something.
I know where you're going with this now. Go right ahead. This ought to be
okay.
Fun.
So Jess, one of our fantastic listeners, invited Chris and myself to fly out to Wisconsin to go to her wedding. So she posted, I am 95% done with my wedding planning and it feels so good. So we have back-to-back comments here. Chris starting first, then I had to jump on top of that whole comment to take over. So Chris says, so do you have my dressing room ready? Remember what I put in my rider. And these are Chris's demands. He wants a brandy snifter filled with green M&Ms, a gallon of Lipton Diet green tea, ice for the green tea, a lava lamp, color's not important, a nice cheese tray, and a freezer with Cop's flavor of the day. So if you came in the beginning and you're wondering why Chris was asking for Cop's flavor of the day, there you go. I responded with a, wait, hold on. Did she respond to your request? I've been waiting weeks for them to approve my request. I have expensive taste, of course. First off, I'd like a 24-karat gold crown made with the rarest of jewels that spell out white chocolate. That's what my high school basketball coach called me. I'd like a beanbag chair so I can hang with Chris with his lava lamp. Canada Dry on top with a glass with 3 ice cubes. If there is more than 3 ice cubes, I will send it back. A peacock, because I've always wanted to know if they can fly. I'd like my room to be set at a cool 67 degrees. I'd like to walk out to Bad and Bougie because that's my theme song. And lastly, I'd like a penny press machine so Nicholas and I can have some fun. That is, and you might sit back and be like, why did he just waste 2 minutes of my time? Maybe you found it funny. Maybe you didn't find it funny. That is literally what me and Chris do. Some people call it trolling. Other people would call it, humorous input in posts. I don't know.
The funny part about it is, well, I wasn't kidding about the green M&Ms. So
you think I was kidding about the peacock?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know if I could fly.
The thing of it is we're pretty much exactly who we are. I mean, if you ever met us in person, we are the same fun-loving people, in person as we are here in the show. I think that's one thing that I can honestly say that we don't have any issues whatsoever. We like to be who we are. The kind of mentality that we have on and off the stage, so to speak, is really the same. We like to think that we're genuine, and I don't want to say it. This is not a negative way of saying this, but I know that we're not everybody's cup of tea, or green tea is my case. But, the thing of it is, we are who we are, and we appreciate everybody for whom they are as well. I think it makes us just original, You meet us on the street, we're exactly the same way. It's as simple as that. So yeah, Mary puts it nicely. We could see fake people anywhere. Yeah, it's just one of those things. And Jessica did say, they troll the bride to be and see how far they can go before she snaps.
Oh, I'm good at that. Ask my girlfriend. I will literally push buttons until you break.
Danny, I don't want to tell Jessica and Nick horror stories from people's weddings that I've been to in the past. And particularly, I do know of one young couple that got married, and basically the in-laws were in the hotel room right next to them for that night. Think about that for a minute. Those are horror stories. And, I know that Jess has got something up her sleeve for the reception. I know she has to. That'd be interesting.
Speaking and just as we end on this, and yes, see, Lindsay says every single button. I'll find it. I'll push it. Tell me not to do it, and I'll do it. Speaking of all this,
yes.
Before we move into our next topic,
yes.
Just so you know, if all these demands are not met in a timely manner and are not done to specification, this will reflect in our ceremony and our speech. So just saying. But, we're talking a lot about food and talking about some green tea. Let's divert to what everybody came here to talk about, and that's food, and that's Disney. That's right. We have the delicious details that were released for the 2018 Not So Scary Halloween party.
I haven't had dinner yet.
Dude, all right, well, you're going to get hungry, so buckle up. And what we're going to start with is make sure your lap bars are pulled down, and you know what? Don't even bother pushing it. They'll come down automatically. We have a hitchhiking ghost dessert. Will be available at a lower aisle only on the party nights. Let's see what is in this one. It's a cream puff with cookies and cream mousse, topped with a chocolate piece featuring the hitchhiking ghost.
Dude,
you know what it honestly looks like, though.
Does it
you
look
ever
like
get those spinach dips inside those bread bowls?
Yeah, I love those spinach dips inside
that.
Bread bowls.
It look the cake part looks like that bread bowl. I mean, obviously not the size of it, but
yeah, no, I get it, but really,
yeah, it's pretty interesting. It looks really good. Something that was pretty basic. I'm surprised they even kind of threw it up here. Was this pumpkin cheesecake, which you could find over at the Main Street Bakery. It's topped with a chocolate Mickey pumpkin, gluten-friendly pumpkin cheesecake, with a gluten-friendly vanilla pecan cake with a caramel glaze.
Wait,
very basic looking.
It says gluten-friendly?
Gluten-friendly. Not gluten-free, gluten-friendly.
Okay.
I'm assuming it means gluten-free. I would assume.
I was going to say, I've never heard of gluten-friendly, unless it means it's just like, oh, I bet you I know what it is. It's probably no gluten added, but they're not going to guarantee that it's completely gluten-free because of where it's made and how it's made.
You think that's what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing that more often where, like example, you can go to a place, certain pizza places, and they'll have a gluten-free crust, but they will not guarantee they will not guarantee zero cross contamination. So that could be why they're saying gluten friendly.
Huh. Okay.
So there you go.
I respect that, if that's what it is. We have a mini witch brownie available over at our hotspot, Casey's Corner. It's a decadent brownie just that flew in for Casey's Corner and topped with a white chocolate piece featuring the one and only fabulous Minnie Mouse dressed in her Halloween best. Very basic. So what they're telling you is the chocolate cupcake with a sugary picture of Minnie on top.
Okay. Well, I like their cupcakes though, or not their cupcakes. I like their brownies usually, unless it's the no sugar added brownie that is like in a pre-packaged wrapper type of thing, and it's like almost like if hockey pucks could be square, it would be a square hockey puck. So there you go.
Okay. This one's starting to get them back in my neck of the woods. We got Hades Nachos available over at Pecos Bill. Turn up the heat with Hades Nachos. These black bean nacho chips are topped with a fiery buffalo chicken and your choice of toppings from the topping bar. So load that puppy up. No guacamole, unfortunately.
And you said that's where?
Pecos Bills.
Oh, man. That actually sounds really good. I mean, okay. Buffalo chicken, nachos. Oh, yeah.
I would throw some cheese on it. I would throw some jalapenos on it. I would throw some shredded lettuce on it. Maybe a little couple tomatoes. You cut them up. Maybe a pickle.
I would put the pickle on the side.
Yeah, I would cut the pickle, like, because they said you the slice of pickles. I'd get a couple of them on the side, so when you have a couple of those chips at the bottom with nothing left, probably you throw a little pickle on it, you call it time. Yeah, because you don't want pickle juice in the cheese and all that.
No.
That could get messy.
No, I mean, you could have jalapeno juice in the cheese and everything like that.
Yeah, that's a different story.
I mean, that actually sounds really good. I've been on a spicy kick. You know what I did the other day? I found some of the leftover Corndog Nuggets from the marathon show back in May. They were still in the freezer. They were still.
I know, but ooh.
I know. They're just not the same. So it was last night. I was hungry, so I heated a whole bunch up. I put a little ketchup, a little mustard in a bowl, and threw some hot sauce in there, and mixed it all together. So I had like spicy ketchup mustard mix with hot dog or corn dog nugget type thing at 11:30 at night. Yes, the dreams were weird last night. That's okay.
We have a massive heartburn. Oh, man. As we go through this list, there's a couple things that really stand out, and I'm like, wow, I can't wait to try that. And then there's a couple other things I'm like, oh, that's kind of cheap. Some of it, I guess, is all right. So this one is, I'm not going to call it cheap. I'm going to say it's definitely geared towards a younger crowd. It's cool, but it's definitely geared towards the younger crowd. It's Worms and Dirt. It's basically has a little fake tombstone, and it's in a little coffin like box, but it just looks like a smaller hot dog container almost. And it's got some worms. Let's see. Chocolate pudding comes with gluten friendly cake crumbs, gummy worms, and a chocolate gravestone. It's cute, it's cool. Also available at Pecos Bill. Cute, definitely more towards the kids.
Do you like gummies though?
Do I like gummies? No.
I'm not a huge gummy fan. Just saying.
I don't really like sweets. But I mean, if I do, I'm gonna have chocolates or something like that. I don't like, the only sweet all right, let me rephrase that. I like Starburst. I can hang out with some Skittles here and there. You know what always got me though is this, not Sour Patch Kids, Warheads. Oh my gosh, I love I had a Warhead the other day. And I was like, oh, they tamed them down. They didn't mess around when we were kids. They definitely tamed them down, but that's the only sweet I'll really go after. This one, I felt like it was a bit of a ooh. Treats at the Cider House. At the Golden Oak Outpost, you'll find refreshing apple cider and pair it with a warm caramel stuffed pretzel. Perfect. Okay. I could dig both of those, right? Or a few cinnamon donuts. And all it is a brown bag with a clear opening and little cinnamon donuts.
Little mini donuts.
It's so cheap looking. I thought that was such a bad picture to take. I don't think they did well there. Personal opinion.
Unless,
but what I do
unless those donuts are like freshly made, they're hot, and like the oil gets absorbed into the bag type of thing. Then you're like, oh yeah.
I just I don't see that happening. This one does look good though. We have a 0 waffle sundae available over at Sleepy Hollow. This one does not start until October 1st though. Everyone's favorite ghostly good boy 0 has some special pumpkin waffles for you here at Sleepy Hollow. The sundae comes topped with vanilla ice cream sprinkles and a caramel drizzle.
Pumpkin waffle.
Yeah. Did you ever have pumpkin waffle?
I've never.
If you like pumpkin, you like waffles, they're good.
You know what? I'm going to have to figure out how to make that low carb. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'll have to make that low carb because that just that sounds really, really good. And I think I can make that into a low carb mix. A little bit of pumpkin. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We also have a Jack Skellington cake push pop. Do you remember push pops? I haven't had a push pop in years.
I haven't had one. Gosh, it's probably been 40 years since I've had a push pop.
Oh, that's so cool. I want this now. It comes layered with chocolate cake, vanilla buttercream, white chocolate, and dark chocolate crispy pearls, dark chocolate curls, and white chocolate Jack Skellington piece.
See, I don't mind white chocolate. But I hope it's only a complimentary flavor and not like a lot of it. That's my only thing.
Let me see. That's the buttercream, dark chocolate, white. It's just a white chocolate Jack Skellington piece on top, and that's it. It's chocolate cake, vanilla buttercream, white chocolate, and dark chocolate crispy curl. Yeah. It's just the Jack Skellington on top.
Nice.
So you don't have to eat him. You can, just save him off to the side. This is another one that looked super cheesy by the picture. Madame Dessert. Dear sweet Loetta, beloved by all in regions beyond now, but having a ball-shaped dessert. And it is a vanilla tart shell filled with toasted marshmallow pastry cream, topped with crispy pearls, chocolate, and hard candy garnish.
See, that almost sounds too sweet, especially once you start talking about the whole marshmallow bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's almost like, I realize it's probably not what I'm thinking it is, but it almost makes it, you know what it makes it sound like? Like it's filled with like that fluff, the marshmallow fluff in a jar. You ever see that stuff?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
you know what I'm talking about. That's what it makes, that's what I think.
By the way, the Jack Skellington was available at Sleepy Hollow, and the Madame was located at the Liberty Square Market. We have the Oogity Boogity. You're joking. This is gluten friendly. That's right. It's a pomegranate cherry with a gummy worms topped with glow in the dark, and it's gluten friendly.
Topped with glow in the dark.
So basically, it looks like Jell-O with worms, and the Oogity Boogity, I would assume. I don't know what he is though. It almost looks like cream, like a whipped cream, but it can't be that. It looks interesting though, but nothing. Once again, definitely geared towards children. This one I feel like is definitely going to be taking a lot of photos of. The girls are going to go crazy for it. Maleficent Dessert, and this is located over at Storybook Treats. Listen well, all of you. It comes with a lime soft serve, so lime ice cream soft serve in a black waffle cone, topped with purple sugar and chocolate horns.
Oh, sign me up.
Yeah?
That sounds delish.
Huh.
That really sounds good. I mean, that sounds, granted, the flavors on that sound really complicated. I bet you that's fabulous. I really, really think that that's going to end up being, if I had my choice, I would still do that. By the way, I am going to find out where I can get that key lime mix. Oh,
yeah, I'm sure you can find it. Chris, this one is right up your alley. This is at the Gravity's Galactic Goodies. It's candy corn ice cream.
I don't know.
I would do it. It looks good.
I
satisfy that candy corn sweet tooth with a yummy soft serve ice cream. Get it in a cone or in a sundae.
I think they're doing. I think they must have gotten like a lot of stock in like a gummy bear company, do all the gummy worms and stuff like that. It's like they're putting gummy worms in stinking everything.
Yes, there are gummy worms in everything. I'm going to pass by on an item because it's something me and Chris talked about off air, and it's just something that I want to talk about the most. We also have a candy corn milkshake. Get it while it's cold. We did just stop a candy corn ice cream. This year we created the candy corn milkshake. The perfect Halloween treat. It's topped with cotton candy and a Mickey-shaped marshmallow.
Didn't they learn the last time that they topped something with cotton candy? Seriously, that when they topped it with that cotton candy and homemade Mickey marshmallow, it was reportedly to be just way too sweet, to the point where people couldn't finish it. It was way too sweet.
I just rip it out. All right, we have a not so poison apple cupcake, another one that I believe will be taken. There will be a lot of pictures taken of it. Magic mirror on the wall. Show me the tastiest cupcake of them all. We have an apple-shaped cupcake with pecan crunch and buttercream. And that is available over at the Main Street Bakery.
That actually sounds really tasty. That actually sounds really good. Especially the buttercream.
I love buttercream.
I do too. That's my problem.
Well, the only problem is my girlfriend does not like icing.
No,
she hates it. So everything's buttercream. And I'll tell you what, I never really had buttercream. And then I found my true love in life, and that's buttercream. I could literally just split the spoon. There's no question about it. I could literally just sit on the couch, just feet up on the table, and just eat a bowl of buttercream and have not even feel bad about it.
But okay, seriously, buttercream on Ritz crackers.
I don't even need the crack. Well, I love Ritz crackers. That's literally my favorite food in the world.
See what I mean?
Literally, you could take away all food from me. You could take away burgers, meat, whatever you want to do. You could take it all. You take away my Ritz crackers, there's about to be a war. We have a Halloween cinnamon roll over at the Main Street Bakery. This deliciously spooky Mickey-shaped cinnamon roll topped with icing and chocolate spider web. It's actually really cute. Looks good. It doesn't look overpowering by any stretch. We're going to talk about this one here. We have a new burger coming to Cosmic Rays here. It's a Munster Smash Burger. You could feed that monstrous appetite with the Munster Smash Burger. It is on a black bun with Munster cheese, tater tots, sriracha, aioli, and bacon.
Bacon!
Dude, there's tater tots and a burger. My life is now complete.
The only thing I'm saddened about is that I have a feeling it's taking over from the super stretchy burger, which I know there were some people that thought it was overpriced and overrated. I loved the super stretchy burger.
What?
What?
I just read a comment and I was trying to talk and read it and I literally just started.
Okay.
Lick off the buttercream and give me the cupcake, and that is not a compromise. I don't know what is. What is the stretchy burger? Is it just a burger with the Incredibles stamp on the bun?
Yeah, but it also had like cheese sticks, and it had cheese sticks in it, and it had like this really cool garlic mayo that just made the burger. I've been trying to recreate the garlic mayo so that I can put in my own burgers here at home. It really was a good burger. I really enjoyed it. I will say this is, yeah, we all really enjoyed it. And the first time, like my son got it, he got the garlic mayo on the side and went ahead and tried it. and then took a bite, and then took a little bit, put it in a garlic mayo. Oh, just it was good. Although I will say this, it was a $15 burger, and so it was a little pricey for a burger, but it was still really good. You can, I believe Tanya is asking if you can still get the stretchy burger.
As far as I know,
I believe you can, but the thing is I know that I'm making an assumption because I know that the super stretchy burger will probably stay there until the, Incredibles, summer celebration type of thing kind of comes to an end, which they didn't really put a date to when that's going to come to an end. But being that now here we are in August and we're knocking on the door of the first not so scary Halloween party, doesn't that seem odd to you though? I mean, we haven't even hit Labor Day yet, and now we're going to celebrate fall. My
sister is surprising her kids, my niece and nephew, with a trip. They actually leave on Monday.
Okay.
And even they were like, "Dude, it's August. Like, we're not. I can understand September, but not August."
I'm not complaining. Okay, so when I'm saying here, I'm not complaining. I'm not making any kind of a negative comment. I'm making an observation. It just seems, really early. And I realize, though, there is something to be said. Being that we're at the end of August and not everybody has gone back to school yet, really, there are people that are going to be able to go to the Halloween party that would not otherwise be able to go to the Halloween party just because of the time of the year. Now, pretty much everybody is going to be going back to school up here by, middle of next week. Anyway, my son went back just yesterday. So
I don't think we start until like beginning of September after Labor Day.
Yeah. And like city of Chicago, the actual city of Chicago starts like day after Labor Day and stuff like that. So, I mean, there are still areas that have that time. But it just seems a little odd. I'm unfazed by it. Obviously, I'm not going to go because I'm here, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying. Should be a blast though,
Speaking of Halloween, we are like 120 days out from Christmas, give or take. It's never too early. Then I'm ready. Let's get the lights up now. Let's get out the tree. Let's start caroling. It's warm out. We don't have to freeze while we do it. Let me get the eggnog and the moose cup. We're good to go.
The eggnog and the moose cup.
I'm glad you got the reference.
Oh my gosh! How can't it? If anybody didn't get the reference, seriously, if I thought we can get away with it, we would be like totally, pirate airing, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
If we could talk, if Disney can have, Halloween start essentially 2 months early, we can have Christmas talk a little early. Reservations are now available for Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, the dessert party over at Hollywood Studios. Just because we're talking Halloween doesn't mean we can't talk a little Christmas season. Christmas in Disney World does start this year on November 8th. So keep that in mind. They are beginning to take the Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam dessert party reservations as we speak. If you do attend the party, attendees are invited to step into the Chinese theater courtyard where they can enjoy a variety of holiday themed snacks, decadent desserts, beer, wine, and specialty alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. There will also be a special VIP character available for a meet and greet while guests are enjoying some sweet treats and snacks. Just before the evening entertainment kicks off, guests will be taken to the reserved viewing area where they'll be able to enjoy Disney Movie Magic, a projection show featuring favorite cinematic moments, which will be followed by Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, complete with holiday music, fireworks, special events, and state-of-the-art projections. The event begins roughly an hour and a half prior to each night's showtime. Events are subject to change without notice. Let's just check some of these right now. November 6th through December 22nd and January 2nd through January 6th. Pricing is $79 per adult and $45 per children. Tax and gratuity are included. If you would like to attend on those non-dates listed, so December 23rd through January 1st, pricing is $89 for an adult and $49 for children.
Never too early to plan.
I want to look something up before I make this comment. Because that's an expensive day. That's a real expensive day.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take a random, like, I'm saying, all right, so what did I say that date was? Because I want to take the most expensive days. So the January 23rd to the 1st are the most expensive days. So let's take the most expensive day I could see available right here, which is December 21st, which is a Friday. It's $125 for adults, $125 for children. So let's go on the fact you got two adults at $125 a pop. That's $250. Throw a kid in there. That's $375, right? Then you want to do the dessert party. That's another $180 for adults. So $375 and $180 is $555 plus another $50 for children. What's that? $705?
No,
No.
605.
How do I do big math, but I can't do small math like that?
I was going to say, dude, this is that new math we're talking about, right? Math is math. How could you change math?
$605.
That's a lot.
And then let's say even you stayed at a moderate, you're still talking about $250 a night. You're talking about one day. And that's not counting what you do prior to the party. You got to eat. You're talking about that one day could run you $1,000. That's absurd.
You know, here's the thing, though. I think this is just me thinking out loud. If you are going as a couple and you are doing a special celebration, cool. I just think that when it comes to bringing kids into that picture, forget about the cost. But what I'm trying to get at is I think parents get very nervous about that, including the cost, because now all of a sudden, you're dragging your kid through everything really late at night and everything else like that. And by gosh, you better stay awake until it's all over, because by gosh, we paid for it. And, you're going to enjoy this if it kills me, that type of scenario. I've seen it happen. And I think the only people that I've ever seen said that these types of things are absolutely fabulous are the ones that aren't towing around 2 or 3 kids with them. It's just not the case. I mean, it is a special event. And,
I agree. I loved being in Disney with my niece and my entire family. But when you start throwing kids in there and you start I'll even add another layer to that besides kids. When you start throwing a larger party together, every money becomes bigger, because now that $200 dinner just might have turned into a $600 dinner. Tickets are more. You have more people wanting to do their own thing, and then you've got people getting mad that you're not being, you become like Gumby in that situation, because you're trying to be in a million places at once and you're getting pulled all over. I've had some of the best trips alone. And I know that sounds egotistical.
No,
and
I think in context, I think it makes sense, though.
Yeah, because the concern that the cost is so much less when it's one. Now, granted, when you're a couple, say like when I was single, it wasn't bad because I only had to worry about my money. When you're in a relationship and you're paying bills, and I go down to Disney, I need to be a little more cautious of where I'm spending, because someone's still up and back home working, and you're gallivanting around Disney. but it's still way different than, because you want your kids to have a great time, so you're willing to go above and beyond to give them all those unnecessary things. And they're kids, they don't know the value of money. They're just like, dude, it's 95 and you've got me at the hinges of Haiti here in Central Florida. You know, I want to, a Mickey premium ice cream bar and I want to go to sleep. And you as a parent is like, no, homeboy, I paid $300 for you to be here today. You're not sleeping. You're going on every ride and you're going to love it. And yeah, it's
not saying that it's not that it happens. It's just, or let me rephrase it. It's not that it will happen. We know it does happen, and kind of going along with, I don't want to go down the same path we did on the other show, but it's just the idea of, you don't want to overset expectations, because if something goes wrong, you'll always go back and say, I shouldn't have spent the money. And it just puts a bad taste in your mouth. I just think that you have to think logically. There are some things that I think you can do separately, 2 different trips or something to that extent, just because, it's one of those cases. Christine actually makes a really good point. She says, when my kids were little, I just played by their cue. If they wanted to nap, they napped. I ate or people watched. I didn't care if we were away, away with an expensive meal or not. And to be very honest, I think that's true. I mean, and I'm not even talking about little kids. Even kids,
your age kids.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the teen years, or even between the ages of like say 7 and 13, that pre-teen, I guess you could call it the pre-teen years. I'm not even sure what they call it that anymore. But it's just the idea that if you don't plan it right, it's going to be a very expensive day, and they may not enjoy it. If you plan it right, it's epic. But you have to know your audience. You have to know your kids. You have to know the rest of your travel group. Even if you're with, like you said, I think you made a really good point. What if you're with, 4 other adults? And
Nick loved it. And don't get me wrong, I've traveled with Nick and Jess before, and it's absolutely fantastic. But it's also almost as challenging as going with toddlers. That I'm and not to sound mean about it. It's
you
just
and Nick were toddlers.
Well, I mean, me and Nick are just oversized toddlers. But the problem is you have now 4 adults who are all like, yo, I spent a lot of money. I want to go do this. And once again, you feel like Gumby. And you got to learn to give and go. And, I think that's why Mary hits them on the head. And unfortunately, not everybody is able to do this, whatever the case is. But that's why APs come so in handy. Because I'll tell you what, there was a time I flew down in February, January, whenever I flew down last. And I was there for 5 days. I didn't go to the park for 2. I literally would walk in at night to watch a nighttime spectacular, and that would be it for the day. I was doing other things. I was walking the resorts. I was doing Disney Springs. That's why the AP is so compelling if you can be there for more than 10 plus days in a year, because that burden and that weight. Now, granted, if you're out of state, you're paying for the no blackouts. You're paying $800. So that upfront cost sucks. But when you're in the park, and once you know in your mind, like, okay, this is day 11, I am now technically going to Disney for free. That burden off of your shoulders is ridiculous. It's wonderful. It truly is a wonderful feeling.
You make a really good point. I mean, the thing of it is, I've been an annual pass holder a number of times over the past, almost 2 decades. And, it has come in handy. There have been a lot of times where it's like, oh, let's go ahead and do a trip. We don't have to pay for tickets. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about. We just have to worry about, airfare and a hotel. I mean, you do it right. You could actually get 2 years worth of trips out of an annual pass if you play that month 1 and month 12. Well, it's one of those cases where you can do that, and then you could actually afford to do some of these extra items. and I'm not necessarily saying that, I'm not saying that these things are not worth it. I'm just saying that if you really wanted to make it worth it, you have to make sure that you plan it correctly, and you have to know your traveling party. I think doing too much is probably one of the things that I think people do by accident. They have a not so hot time and they blame Disney on it. And it's not Disney's fault.
No, I would agree.
It's just one of those cases. I mean, sure, it happens. Listen, there have been times where we tried to do too much. Well, it was one of our first trips, and especially we spent like 9 or 10 days at Riverside. When we went home, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
My feet were aching. I still joke around with my wife because she made me buy this pair of shoes before we left. I'm like, I'm not really liking these shoes. She goes, oh, they'll be great for you. They say it's going to be great for you. Yeah, they sucked. Oh my gosh. I just hurt my feet so bad. And I was just like, I'm done. And we learned that you have to take breaks. You have to take non-park days. You just have to relax. Spend time with your family. Make some memories.
Yeah.
Just dude, I posted all my PhotoPass pictures are up on Amazon Prime Photos. And it was hilarious because I forgot I put them up there a couple of days ago. And I was watching our Fire Stick this morning, and Kathy and I just started talking. And then the default screensaver was all the PhotoPass pictures.
That's cool.
So all of a sudden we're like, we see all these different pictures, and we're like, yes, this is what we did. We made memories. And it was like, oh yeah, totally worth it. And unfortunately I had to go to work. I couldn't only watch but a few minutes of the slideshow, but boy, those are just some awesome memories. Make some memories.
All right. Before we wrap up here, I'm going to give you 2 full minutes. Okay. Now, it's not coming up this soon, so I have plenty of time, but it was I brought it up as jokingly to my family, and everybody's kind of picked up and run with it. So I'm going to go with it. I said for my 30th birthday, we should all go on a cruise. Didn't say what cruise line. I just said, we should go on a cruise. No one buy me a gift. No one do nothing. We can all use a vacation. We haven't gone on a family vacation since like 2014 together. Sure. There's some things coming down the pipeline in the very near future that will be announced once everybody involved is aware of everything going on. So I can't really dive into too much with that. There's listening ears. So sell me, because then I was at a wedding this weekend and my sister goes, so are we really going to go on a Disney cruise for your 30th birthday? And I was like, I didn't say Disney. I just said a cruise because I just figured. And I was like, well, so sell me right now, because I love Norwegian and Royal Caribbean's really making a push in my book. Solely price is ridiculous because it's half the price. Sell me why I should go on a Disney cruise.
Well, I'll say that in all fairness, I think you need to talk to our friend Chris, who just came back from a cruise, and a non-Disney cruise, and hear what he has to say. Because I think he would.
Looking at great pictures.
Yeah, it looks like he had a fabulous time. So I'll just go ahead and say this. I've only been on Disney cruises, and I hate to say that I think I got spoiled, real spoiled. It's the kind of cruise that, in the way that I cruise, I walked onto a ship with $5 in my pocket. I walked off the ship with $5 in my pocket. I think that everything from I thought the food was top notch. I thought the service was just astounding. I actually felt like I had the best customer service experience ever. I thought that they had everything so well done, so clean, so efficient. The way that the servers knew my kids by the end of the trip and would make suggestions for them and help them with things. Just the service was top notch. The ship is astoundingly beautiful. It's
Do
not,
they really not have a casino?
They do not have a casino. They do not have a ship's library.
Ooh.
But
I mean, the library, that's really for when I'm
I know
baking out in the sun. But
yeah, I realize that. I mean, the thing is, the spa is what got me into going to a spa.
Is it very Disney in your face?
I'm going to say no. I'm not going to say it's Disney in your face. There are very subtle details that, there are very much Disney details in this ship. Yes, you do see characters a lot. The dining is themed in a way where it's definitely Disney themed. The rooms are, there are some Disney themed touches in the rooms. But the night
you've never been on any of their cruises, so you can't compare stateroom sizes, can you? But cruise ships are small. They're rooms.
Disney say that that Disney Cruise Line states or claims that their staterooms are some of the roomiest in the industry. I'll leave it at that.
Hold on. I'm sorry. By the second night, they know your preference, and I love they remove the bones from your food for you. They what?
I've never had that problem, but okay. But here's the thing. Okay. I will say that they do know your preferences, and it's really kind of neat how they learn very quickly about you and your taste. The first cruise we did, John was like 6 months old. I mean, he was still an infant. And when we got to the table, the servers had a high chair, and they kind of done it up in such a way where it was nice and padded, where Kathy could put John in there, and so he can kind of like sleep very comfortably. But by the time the food came, John, needed to be taken care of. But Kathy was like, she ordered a steak. She's like, how are you going to eat this? One of the servers actually cut up Kathy's steak for her so she can eat while taking care of John and not interrupt anybody else. I kid you not. We still think about that because it was it just goes to show there was this like, oh, Kathy did not ask.
Jeez, cut my steak, jeez.
I remember I was going to try to cut her steak and they're like, sir, I'll take care of that for you. You enjoy your dinner. I'm like, what? And so, but they cut her steak up. And so she was able to take care of John and still enjoy her meal. And, because I think John was a little fussy or something. He ended up falling asleep on her shoulder. And he was a little old thing. He's almost as tall as me now, but it's kind of funny. But it was just an example. We got to meet the captain, and it was really, really kind of neat. I actually got to do a galley tour. That was actually very interesting how they actually made things. The ship itself is absolutely stunning and it's beautiful, and they keep it up so well. They're constantly cleaning. They're constantly keeping it up. I think the activities are very much more, okay. A lot of the activities are family focused. That's true. They do have, an adult section. They have a section that's a little more nightlife-ish, and you have to be 21 or over after a certain time to go enjoy. And they enforce it very strongly. In fact, Kathy was holding John that first trip. She went to go poke her head in, and cast member was like, I'm sorry, I can't have you come in. Like, why? Well, your son.
He's 21.
It's kind of like, really?
Button. He's reversing.
Yeah. So it was really kind of, they were really strict about it. Very pleasant about it too, I might add. I'll be honest with you. I have to agree, and I will concede to the idea. I've never cruised on any other ship. I don't think I would want to. I know that Disney cruises are not cheap. But I will say that I think, and I don't do it every year. That's been a few years. It's been 5 years since I've been on a Disney cruise. And I'm jonesing for a Disney cruise. Kathy and I were talking about when we're going to do another Disney cruise. We're actually hoping that, we can do something when my daughter graduates college or something like that. Of course, now I also got to pay for a wedding, but that's a whole different story altogether. But, it's just one of those things. I loved it. I got off that ship, that first trip, saying, when are we doing this again? And
BTEP Company Cruise 2018.
I would, you know what? I'll be honest with you. If I thought, and I'm going to say this with the utmost sincerity, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this. And as you know, we are unscripted, so Danny doesn't even know I'm about to say this.
Oh, I'm nervous.
If I thought that we would be able to get 10 staterooms, a block of 10 staterooms.
Does that count mine and yours?
Yes.
Because Kathy's not letting you go by yourself.
Oh, no. That's going to be, you are going to be in your own stateroom. I'm going to be in my own stateroom.
We ain't splitting that one.
No.
That's one bed, homie.
No. You do know that they will split the beds.
Wait, that's not just one giant bed?
No, it's two. How
do they make it feel like it's one?
All they have to do is break it. They split it apart and they put a bedside table in the middle.
And it makes it what? Two twins?
Two twins.
So it's a queen size bed or a full size bed?
It's a little different. I know that because we talked to our stateroom host and we were talking about that whole thing, and it was very interesting how they did it. But I know that you can have it configured not just with one big bed. You can actually have it configured with two, if I'm not mistaken. Now, mind you, that was quite a while that I did that last.
But you feel the rooms, I know someone that might have agreed, the rooms are a tad bit bigger on this ship than they have been.
I didn't feel cramped. I mean, no,
because you're talking about most of these staterooms are only like 300 square feet.
Yeah, and these are a little bit more than 300 square feet. But the thing is that I've been on an inside stateroom with a veranda and an inside stateroom, outside stateroom with a veranda and an outside stateroom without a veranda. Yes, I liked the one with the veranda better.
You need it.
But I enjoyed it with just a big old porthole. I enjoyed both.
Did you?
I did.
I got so sick.
I did. I don't get like motion sickness or anything like that, so it wasn't a problem. But I will tell you, if I thought that people would be serious about doing a podcast cruise, I would say let's do it. And I realized it would take about a year and a half to plan the whole, a year and a half ahead of schedule to do it, the whole thing. I would do it, but I would need to know that we have a listener base that is willing to do that, and we would have an absolute blast. I would only make it like a 3-night, Bohemian cruise, a very small one, especially designed for those that may not have done a cruise before. Something that they could afford, something that they can get a nice taste of Disney Cruise Line vacationing. If I knew that people would do that, I would be so all over that.
Fun fact.
Yes.
When you have a balcony and it's windy out, it is impossible for you to have your balcony door open and try to open your stateroom door.
I don't doubt that.
I tried it. It's impossible. I got really freaked out. I thought I was locked in my room. Realized that it was just suction.
No, I gotta tell you, if I thought that we would do this, I would be serious. I would make the investment and do it. And I know I'm saying that over and over again. I'm planting the seed. If people would like to try something like that,
I can't see the 3-night ones being expensive.
They're not cheap, but the thing is that I've done a 3-night, I've done a 4-night. Love both. 4-night was great. It was 4.
I'm a 7-night person, but I know
I'd do it.
Very hard to get people to do 7 nights.
I would do it. To tell you the truth, I would do a 7-night cruise. I can't afford a 7-night cruise.
I could afford it. It's just I need a little time.
Here's one other thing I want to mention. I thought the entertainment on board was top notch. Just absolutely top notch. I just thought that, I really felt like I was enjoying Broadway shows. I don't know. I've been on the Wonder.
According to Trisha, we've got six rooms booked. Counting hours.
Well, she's keeping good track of it. I mean, so I'm thinking to myself, we'd have to look into that.
Dive into this.
We might have to, but we'd have
This is expensive. You got to fly out there.
Yeah, it's not cheap. And then, or if you drive out there, you still got to pay to park. And even if you fly in, you still have to pay for transfers no matter what, because you're not doing a Disney Magical Express to port. It's not included. It's expensive. And I will tell you this though. This is the time where you have the Disney Visa, right? Where you get the 6 months, no interest, no payment type of thing. And on your Disney cruise, and you go through a really good travel agent and so on and so forth. I mean, those are the kinds of things.
Enrique, we don't do pencils around here. We don't pencil nobody in. We're putting magic marker. We're holding you to this. This is a binding, excuse me.
So we'll have to, you and I will have to talk on the side, and I would love to do that. I think that would be epic. And you want to know something? I'm not trying to be like the Joneses or anything like that. Other podcasts have done this, and they have absolutely enjoyed their time. And I think they do it because they build up a sense of camaraderie with their listeners. And I think we have too. We've got awesome listeners, and we are a real community. And I just think that this would be perfect.
You can also, people are saying we could stay at Port Canaveral with free parking. People are saying the minivan service will do it. Trisha brought up, I think, what the best idea is. We could leave out of New York. Be fantastic for me. A quick 40-minute drive to the port. All right, Chris. We'll talk more about that. Why don't you take us away here?
Yeah. Now I'm really jonesing for a trip. Oh, well, we'll just have to talk about that soon. Here we go. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
Ew. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this Thursday evening show, the Friday Eve. Fantastic show. Discussed a lot of food, made my tummy rumble, talked a little dessert party, some Christmas, because it's never too early to think about Santa, and a possible Behind the Ears podcast cruise? Question mark? Pencil? Maybe? I don't know. Whatever we decide, we'll keep everybody in contact that wants to do this. With that being said, everybody, like Chris says, follow us on all our social media platforms, share the show out with your friends, and have a safe and wonderful weekend. Tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, stay classy, San Diego. You're muted. That would be a problem.
Yeah, every once in a while I just don't hit the mute button, but I'm really glad that everybody got to join us tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of our family. And by all means, until we meet again, we hope you have an excellent day. Take care.